Yeah, it's the style over substance sort of argument as
No,
well.
I wasn't wanting to come on here and bash Hollywood. This isn't like a red pill freaking
Well,
episode.
I'm not just saying Hollywood. I'm just saying films per se.
Maybe.
No?
That was
Again, you know me. I only rarely watch modern films because, as far as I'm aware, there's not been anything that's been rarely watched that's been produced in several years now. Give me a film back from that was written and produced in the 1950s.
Oh, you don't want. I've seen this one. When I first saw it, Roger made a crack about it. Gargoyles, where this guy found a big old bunch of bones of of a gargoyle, and he brought it back home.
never picked them. That's actually, I love that. It was a TV movie back
Yeah.
in the 70s.
But it was real good graphics. They actually had to make the whole thing. And I made the statement about for what they had to do, what they did, and how they did it. I have to say they did a lot of hard work for it to make to make the suits and all that to work with out in the desert where you would fry like an eggshell.
I mean, give me, I don't know, the 1970s load of films based on Sinbad. Just the stop motion stuff. Yeah. Rather than anything modern, at least those things have actually got a good plot.
Yeah, I can't think of the movie, but you know that one movie, Carrie, ain't it, Roger? The red car. Well,
that's Christine.
Christine. Here's another movie comes close, but it's even more sinister. This black car back in the 60s, well, 60s or 70s, driving around by itself, took on the government, the state troopers, and killing them off left and right. At the one part, this woman gets something blows through the window of her home, and this person calls up and she says, "Yeah, everything's clear and all that." And nothing, you hear this big old car coming, and it jumps through her window of her house, goes through the other end, and in her home where they show the inside of it, she's no longer there. And you just see this black car driving down the dirt road. Nobody's in it. And I thought, boy, it's pretty weird.
That was interesting. So before we start doing any more conversations, I wanted to kind of get into another thing that I guess it would be as close to minds as relate possible. And here in the last two or 3 days, Jeffy Ryder from WPRPN, a member of Minds.com, is reaching out to anybody who is interested in helping him. He says that he is needing people to help out when it comes to new hosting for his website, WPRPN.com. So
if he comes to me directly and then specify what he requires, then I'll speak to him.
Okay. And then after that, he says he is also needing tech support. If anybody's
Again, if he comes to me directly, then we'll speak to him. He needs to be very specific what he wants. He requires.
He gotta realize too, I'm putting it up. stream for anybody who's actually watching it on Minds as well.
Again,
So,
I know exactly his case, and like I said earlier, I've still got his content from 2 years ago. Last time he had a major problem with his site.
well, with me, I told him straight out, well, you have to be a little bit more specific when it comes to
Yeah,
tech
that's what I mean.
support.
He has to be specific.
Because like saying tech support is really a generic term. You could, like whenever you say IT, you know what I mean? IT is just a generic form of what you do. There's different types of IT. It's like tech support is. What does he mean by tech support? Because there's 100 different things he can referring to. I told him that if he is a little bit more specific, I can help out any way I can. I don't know exactly what it is he's looking for. So.
Okay. He, like I said, speak to me.
What kind of site is it?
It's just a marketing site, really. This is more very general sites about the entire World Pirate WPRPN sort of operation.
And he does the live streams called the World Pirate Radio Network.
World Pirate Radio Podcast Network.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? WPRPN.
What's the difference between that and I mean, how does it work?
What's the difference between radio
And
and a
that,
podcast?
yeah.
Podcast is basically audio that's on the internet. Podcast form with like maybe slideshow video, stuff like that. If they have them, like the old school one, just audio. You record it.
Really, is there any difference between radio and podcasts anymore?
Podcasts.
You could argue.
When I first started podcasts, you had to record it first and then upload it.
Yeah, but you look at Mark's, look at the Fixins thing, the Wednesdays things. Mark
Me and Sonia
broadcasts
actually,
the radio and the internet. Therefore,
me and Sonia actually had a conversation, because this is true. Like what Mark does isn't like actual radio. This is terrestrial radio, which is kind of like a internet version of radio. Angel SBN, you know who I'm talking about, Angel off of
Yeah.
Show. He
Yeah.
does the same thing. B, that's what he's talking about when he's talking about getting on the radio. It's not real radio. It's internet radio. You know what I mean?
digital DAP.
So, like,
Really, the lines have blurred so much in the last decade. That there is hardly any difference between the two.
now, if you wanted to do real radio, you have to do like they did back in the old days. You have to actually get a ham set up. You know, start out locally, and then maybe get picked up by syndicators on real radio stations. It moves outward like that. It's not like what market. All those guys.
The only difference between them is the way that's transmitted.
Right.
Yeah, it's so blurred these days. It's
It's like we live less than a mile away from guys down here. Like one of the hugest freaking radio towers that we.
I'm thinking of things like in UK you've got things like GB News Talk Radio stroke TV and LBC. They broadcast their broadcast on the internet, but they still use the same broadcast on the radio stations.
Well,
So-
Oh God. We always talked about. Uh, but anyhow, he was into radio. He did desert, um, midnight in the desert. Um, but he had his actual antenna sitting outside of the studio, and he would do his shows from there. And he also had his radio tapped into the satellites. So now you can use ham radio to actually tap into satellites and do ham radio
Anyway, that's
streams.
slightly different than commercial radio.
Uh,
The only real difference is as this sort of raises the old Ofcom rules, the Office of Communication rules in this country, and the old BBC then. According to the BBC's television license agreement, a television program is defined as a broadcast that is going out on televisions at a specific time.
Well, Dave, we're having a big old thing on about the radio because companies. There's a group. I forget what they call them, but they bought off all the airtime on radio. But then, like when you have the musics and all that, they had to go through the second person to get to where they bought up all the airtime, and you would have to pay them to have the radio station say, "Oh, okay," to have your music played on air. They monopolized that. They did to such an extent after a while that the government started doing an investigation. That's how I found out about it. The big old corporation bought up all the airtime on all the radio stations through the USA, and they did that to where they monopolized all of it. If you do not go through them to pay for it, your music to be played, it just don't get played on no radio.
Okay. What's the governmental agency in the US? Not the FDA.
You had he probably would know. Who's the one that does the communications, Raj? Yeah.
FCC. Yeah. I was thinking of FCA, but that's financial. The FCC governs what is broadcast on radio and television, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't govern what is broadcast on the internet. And yeah, with the UK Online Safety Act coming in force, in theory, the Office of Communication can govern what is on the internet.
Yeah.
And
What company? What company is that does the internet, oversees the whole thing? No. Long
The
little
only
bit longer than
thing-
that.
The only thing that has an international reach is